All right, how's it going, everyone? Tyler Hopkins here with TimeOut Branding, and what we're going to be doing in this video is actually going over how you can make your own logo using a couple simple tools like PicMonkey, doing some research on other logos that you like, and then recreating those. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So first, let's start out by, if you need to make notes, go ahead and start making notes. We're going to be using PicMonkey to do all of our graphic designs. We're going to open up a blank canvas. We're going to start with our dimensions pretty high. We're going to do 2000 by 2000. If we need to increase it or decrease it, we can. So we're going to start out with a blank slate. So we have this going on right here. So make some notes too so that you can recreate your logo, and then you don't have to pay somebody else to do it. And the whole thing with your logo, the thing to remember is it shouldn't be too complex. Like, you can always update it and make it a little bit more complex once you get your business started or your brand built a little bit higher. So what we're going to do is go over some logos that you can simply make yourself without needing to hire a designer. So I want you to see how my logo is made first. And then we're going to also be going over to Google and just looking at different images of modern logos. So this is a good tip that I always use to figure out what are some other logos that are specific to a niche. So if I'm helping somebody build a fitness brand, then I'm going to do research on fitness brand logos. So seeing what's already out in the market. And then if I like something and something stands out and it's something that I could get behind, well, then I could copy it. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you how to do in this video. So my son is sleeping, so just in case I need to pause this, I will. And in case you're new here with TimeOut Branding, what we do is we take a timeout of our daily scheduled busyness and we refocus in on the things that we're interested in. So if you want to build your own brand, what I do is I teach you how to make your own logo, how to make your own website, how to start thinking about building your brand from scratch. And I'm basically going to show you how I would do it for you so that I can save you a lot of time and money. And you can just do it yourself instead of hiring somebody else like me. So first, let's duplicate my logo, and I want to show you how it looks like on a website and being used, because a concept of a logo is only a concept until it's being put out into the market. So think of your logo as the packaging to your brand. So if you see some of these other logos, like this Slack, for instance, it's not that complicated of a logo. Like, you could easily make this yourself. But the brand Slack is big because of what it produces. Like a Google name, nobody knows what Google is until you Google it. And I think it's something like a high number, above like 1 trillion, and it's way up there, I guess. So anyway, so your brand logo doesn't need to be that complicated because you still need to market and build the brand. Like, don't overcomplicate your logo and think you need to have something super fancy, but you don't. Because the whole thing is you need to first get your brand name out there. So I would keep it simple in the beginning for sure. So mine has a lot of different elements to it, and it's not actually that simple because I wanted this logo to stand out. So this whole thing is based around parents who want to possibly do their own personal brand, and they're used to seeing those blue and pink colors if they're a brand new parent, and especially if it's bright and it stands out. So that was my thought process behind our logo, TimeOut Branding. And I'll show you the different fonts that we used, how we made it in PicMonkey, how we get a vector image and we use it as the O, and how we lay everything out. And then we'll also give you a couple other options of how you can lay out your logo. So let's first by recreating this logo now that you see how it's used on an actual website. And what we also did was to match the logo with the branding is we used the same color scheme. So this pink is the same pink in the logo at the tip. This blue is the same blue as our icons on the website. And we also we actually made this, I guess you could call it a wallpaper. So like the background image. And we just took these little vector images and we made pretty much just like a pattern, just like it's laid out here. And then we also did a gradient over top of it, which matches our color scheme. So just to give you a good idea of like how we're using these colors. And we also use it down here in these images. We use it as the background of this image with the computer on it. So these are all things that I'm going to show you how you can make yourself. So let's come over here to PicMonkey. So there's a subscription you can buy. I've had one for years and years and years. So it's not expensive. I use a lot of tools that are appropriate for small businesses. So they're not going to take the time to learn PicMonkey. I mean, not PicMonkey, but Photoshop, for instance. Like it's going to be a lot more complicated, and they don't need all of those different functionalities that makes Photoshop, work awesome. Like I'm a huge fan of them, but of course I don't want to. I've been using PicMonkey for years and years and years, so it's hard for me to try to learn a new tool, if you will. So I'd rather just stick with something that I'm good at. So I would make this as big as you can, because the size really doesn't matter as far as the pixelations here, because this is within PicMonkey. So even if you had this image at like 4,000 by 4,000, you can make this as big as you want, which if you ever have pulled an image from a website or from online and you've pulled it in and tried to make something, sometimes it's like super pixelated around the edges or it's blurry. You don't have to worry about that. So make this as big as you can. So I went over here to text if you're taking notes, and then you can do the drop down and use any of their fonts. If you want to upload a font, you can go down here and upload your own font. I use something to where I get a subscription to these different fonts, and they come like every week or every month or something like that, and it's free. It's kind of like their promotional thing so that I open up their email and stuff. So I use that. So if you get those, you can always go here and then upload your font. So the whole thought process behind this was I didn't want just this font because I wanted to eliminate this O. So I'll show you how to do that. But the whole reason I even picked this font to begin with, because it's playful, it's kind of childish looking, but it's also modern enough that it's not too childish. So that was kind of my thought process behind it, because it's also fun. So I'm kind of, out there sometimes when I make content. So I wanted the brand to represent a little bit more about me. That's why I did a crying baby, because I just thought that's super funny and it draws your eye into it, I think. So whenever I look at that logo, my eyes immediately go to the O, just because it's different. So that's kind of what we were going for. So I'll show you where we also found this crying baby, if I can find it again. Let's see if I can do it real quick. Go to Vex, what is it called? Vexy.com. I have a membership here, which is, none of these things are expensive. It might be, $10 or under a month. So all these tools, like if you add them all up, for one, you're going to save a lot of money because you're not going to have to get a designer to make it, to where sometimes they can be $50 to $100 an hour. And some of these logos can take, 3 to 4 hours. So come up here and we're looking for, let's do crying baby. It pulled up Shutterfly. All right, so you can see some of these images, and what we would look for is one that stands out, that's separated like this one. We could use, you could download that and then eliminate the other vector images. Where's ours? Here's ours. See how you see it laid out? So you click on it and then you can download it and you have full rights to it. Once you download it, or you can click in here and edit and then eliminate everything else, and then it's pretty much a vector image and you can blow it up as big as you want. So let's go ahead and see if I can import my little baby face, and then you can kind of see how it looks. So I have it all saved. It should be under TimeOut Branding, and there's the little face right there. So let's open that up. I think I saved it separately. And then what we would do is save this image. Let's see if we can erase this. So we're going to erase this O. Whoops. Clicked on the wrong thing. So if you ever need to go back, do undo right there at the bottom. Let's get that out of the way. Let's do erase. And we're going to erase the O. So we still want to have the spot saved as if it was the O. And then we're going to come in here and then adjust the size of the baby face. So if you want to smush it in. So everything's very intuitive with PicMonkey. That's why I like to use it. That's also easy for a lot of the businesses to just jump in and take over, doing their own marketing with it. So once you would have this saved, so actually let's do our other font. So we need TimeOut Branding, and the whole point of the layout of this is I wanted more emphasis on the timeout part, because parents need to take a timeout, and if you think of a parent, if they see the word timeout, they're already thinking, of a child or their baby. So it immediately would get their attention, was my thought process behind naming it timeout. And the whole layout of the logo, you see that there's a spot right here, which would fit with having the branding part, since the website's TimeOut Branding. So that's the thought process behind that, but I don't want it to be too big or overpronounced. So I did it in a more simple font. I don't know what you would call it. I wouldn't really call it a simple font, but let's see. Let's do this one. Go back and do branding. And we'll use this one as the example. If you need to shrink your font size, you can do it right here, or you can just pull the corners. You do it like that. So I'll get this as a rough estimate of where I would want it. And if that's the size of the lettering, and then you can always separate the letter spacing right here. Just drag this and it'll get a little bit bigger if you wanted it a little bit longer to fill that gap. And then if you ever need to have the different line height, is if you have like a paragraph of text and you want to shrink the space in between, you can do it right there with the line. What else should we go over? So let's save this, because then we're gonna do, actually let's see if they'll let us do a gradient over top. So if you want to select all these images, you can hold shift and then click on each one of them and then go here to group layers. So now that should all be the same layer. And then if we want to do that gradient that we have, that blue and the pink, come over here to effects, come down here to gradient, and see, yeah, we're gonna have to save this. So let's do a transparent background. So we would need to cover that first. So do background color, come here to transparent, make it transparent. We can even crop it, come up here to crop, pull this down, get rid of all that dead space. I think Jameson might be waking up. So we'll keep this nice and simple. Once that's done, hit apply. All right, now let's go to gradient and see if we can do the gradient now and have these all selected. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a pause real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Jameson woke up, had to rub his back real quick. So that's me taking a time out for sure. So what I wanted to do is actually show you, since this is more of a gray color, we're going to need to change that. So I'll show you, go to exposure, go to contrast. We're going to turn that up. You see it made it darker. So that's one way we can make an image that's gray a little bit darker, in case you ever need to do that. So what we're actually going to do is save this image first, because that's going to first give us a black image. And then if we ever need to do it more opaque, you can usually do that within whichever platform you're going to be using. So if you're going to do it like as an overlay on Instagram, you can usually do and make it a little bit more opaque or see-through if you wanted. But if you wanted to do it opaque now, what you can do is fade it a little bit. So there's a fade right here. As you can see, it's fading. And since this is on a blank background or transparent background, it's going to pick up whatever you lay it on. So if you were laying this on top of a white image and you don't want it too black, you can always just do it a little bit more opaque. So usually save a couple different versions of your logo. So we would click up here and download, and then now we would have a black image. So I would always recommend to have a lot of different variations of the color that you want. So this is what I did. I did a black one. I did a white one. So just come in here and change all this. And then you're going to save that, download it. I'm going to turn everything back black. Actually, I'm going to import this black image now that we have it saved. Actually, let's go ahead and save it since we're doing this as the demonstration. Make everything black. Go ahead and download. You can do PNG. Create a new. Do a blank canvas. Do it like the same size that you just had it. And you're going to import this as an image. So add an image. Go to your computer, wherever you have it saved. Everything on mine goes to PicMonkey. It should be right up here at the top. Boom. Okay, so now that is the image. So now we can do that overlay that I was telling you about with these different colors, the blue and the pink. And if you ever need to find a color scheme and you want it to match and you want it to actually make sense, like there's a reason this blue and pink match or they complement each other, you can go to this thing called, I think it's called Colors or Coolers. I don't know how you pronounce it. I've never heard anybody say it before. But here you can generate, a color scheme and everything's going to match. So it's a color scheme generator and it's free. So this is another good tool for you to use. And it pops out something that you can import into your image so that you can use it. So let me find ours. Go to TimeOut Branding. And you'll see it'll be these lines like this. So you can see it, I saved it as an image. And now I have all the color codes there at the bottom. If you ever need to do the color code, click on the image, go to color, and then type it in right here. Or what you can do is you can do the dropper, since that's why I import the image, and just hover over whatever you're going to want. So while we're making this gradient, I'm going to show you that we used this pink and the blue. Click on the image, come over here to effects, go to that gradient that we had. You can see it's already imported their default. So come up here, click on one of them. So it looks like you can only do 2, which is perfectly fine. So now that you have those selected, I turned the fade down so you can see the colors. And I did the directions from top left to bottom right. So just keep changing this until you find what that is. So it's actually about 0 degrees. So if you wanted to do it like top to bottom, it's about there. If you want to do it like left to right, however you want to do it, you can just change this around. Well, that looks cool. And it affects everything. You see it affects the branding part too at the bottom. So it gives it that nice effect. So I would click that, hit apply, and then I would save this. So you can get rid of this. And I would make sure you go up to edits, do background color, make sure you do it transparent. And then if you also wanted to crop it, you can just do that real quick. Boom. So that's why I really love this software. It's just super easy to learn. And then once you learn, and now you have logo. Like these, this is a good. That's so you can like what they have, because have these tools available. Use this one. You can download, which I just can't. Okay. I'll show you within PicMonkey. So if you have an image that you like, let's say this. I don't ever want to and then 4. Like let's say we want to create this one. Just a quick little shot. And then we can pull that image up, editing it. I have on my screen. You can just keep this as a visual. So let's create that image, all this stuff. Let's do a green background, same. Even if you want to do the same with the little dropper, but we'll just do a quick estimate of what it looks like. So let's say that's it. You have these different graphics to use. So if you see certain icons to use, you can it or just browse and see. Like if you wanted to do something related to cooking, something like that, coffee, some cool designs down there, and match the font and everything to that style, if you will. See if they have anything. Leaf. And then we'll create it with, let's just do this leaf. Let's make it white. And yeah, we'll leave that orange. Actually looks pretty cool. It complements the green. Looks like Jameson's waking up again. And then we're going to crop the edges, so don't really look at the edges. Doing the mark and then font. And I'll just show you how you can read that for yourself. So that's also why it makes a lot more sense to make the logo simple. Like you don't want to have to be hiring somebody to make these little tweaks if you can't afford it for your business. So let's keep these words together. They made them white, a bit more smaller, and we'll zoom in. Line everything up if you can. You'll see how it snaps to the red. So now this is in the center. Pull it over, click this, make it white. And you can always play around with the different fonts in here. And they made the outside, the and writer bold. So if the font has the ability to be bold, it would be right there with the B. So you can see how that's highlighting and drawing your attention to the outside, and it splits this up. And you would also do that so that you can keep this space thin in between here. So that's just a quick example. So if we wanted to crop this, save this, this could be just you recreating this logo for yourself. And that's just a quick example of how you can just search online and just find some logos that you like. Again, just go over here to Vexy, and then you can download whatever icon that you like that's related, and import it into PicMonkey. Pick out whatever font you like, and you can do different backgrounds. If you want to make the background transparent so that you can overlay it on stuff, come up here to transparent, click apply, remember to save it, and then make your different variations. So go down here to black. If you wanted to make this entire thing black on white, actually let's do that white, and let's do this one black, see how that looks. So you could do something like that, save that. And you can just do a lot of different variations, and then you can delete this, find a different leaf, go to graphics. Then you can make a couple different ones, have people test it out. You know, maybe do like a survey or something, be like, you know, which logo do you like? Just come in here, change whatever. If you want to have different color variations, if you want to use the same orange for just the high part, use your little dropper, hover over it, and then boom, you just color matched it. Save that, make everything white. So this is just quick ways that you can just knock out different versions and make your own logo. I hope that helped. Hopefully that didn't take too much time, but hopefully it added a lot of value that you can then take this and then just make your own logo, make your own website, and then match whatever you're going to want. So until next time, have a good one. Love you all. Bye-bye.